phenomenal car. This is a genuine HT Monaro, 350 powered Monaro, automatic power glide car that is essentially a true survivor in complete unrestored condition. Now, you and I have talked in the past about survivors and barn finds, right? There are some cars that are found and are called survivors that really should be restored, and then there are the ones that are unrestored that have really been preserved. The original owners or the owners along the way had the foresight to really look after these cars. This is one of these cars. And not only is it a fine example of a survivor, it's actually a real special car because it was one of the big bangers of the day, the 350 powered, the Chev powered HT Monaro. So the story goes with the car. It was sold at McGrath, Liverpool by a fellow, Frank. He went on to become the Mayor of Camden, which is not too far away from Liverpool in New South Wales. And in about 1980, he purchased the car back from the fellow he had sold it to, that is the original owner. And that car has remained in Frank's family up until now. Quite a fascinating car. You see a lot of period accessories were fitted to this car, like these covers, if you like, for the lights. I mean, you look at these things, no one would dream to do this, a similar sort of thing these days, but back in the day it was the done thing. You did your highway driving, you didn't want bugs on the beams, and you didn't want them cracked or whatever, so people fitted these aftermarket sort of covers to the headlights. It's got performance wheels which Frank fitted to the car. When I look at them, they're just in immaculate condition. This is quite phenomenal, actually. And the interesting thing with the performance, what we call mad wheels back in the day, they came with this, what I'm holding here, which is a little magnet lock. So if you have a look at this as part of the keyring, and the car, of course, features all its original keys. But the idea with this was, in order to remove the lock, you would have to line up the magnet in such a way that the cover would slip away, then you could get to the nut. Pretty amazing. I don't know who thought up this, but it went. Frank was wise enough to pop them onto the car, and so it went. So quite a unique feature. The car presents with its original paint, its original panels, has all its original running gear. It's travelled 58,000 odd miles since new, so really quite the treasure. Again, one of these great surviving features. Have a look at the genuine gear lever lock sticker that's here on this quarter window, as fitted at the time that the car was sold. And then, of course, over on this side we've got the deadlock fitted, and I'll show you what that's all about. This was quite fascinating. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I'll open up and show you. First to the gear lever lock. If you go down onto the console over there and have a look at where the shifter is, you'll see the gear lever lock. The idea was you locked it when it was in park, so even if they got the car started, they couldn't shift it into gear to move it. Pretty amazing. Mate, check out the other special lock which was fitted to the car. Again, a period accessory. Looks pretty agricultural. It's like a steering wheel lock, and the idea was that you use the key to fit this lever in and around the steering wheel. That fit on the steering wheel, that locked into that mechanism that sits on the floor. You'd lock that into place. That combined with the gear lever lock, and of course the wheel lock nuts, the car was going nowhere. 1970. Without doubt, one of the most outstanding features is the trim in this car. Have a look at this door trim. When I had to do a double take. When I first saw this, I thought, oh, reproduction. No way. Have a look at the chrome piping. Normally that stuff all comes away over the years with wear and tear. The owners obviously looked at this car, looked after this car, and didn't treat it with any sort of abuse or otherwise, because this has just been maintained perfectly. That is not reproduction. That is original as per its manufacturer in 1970. Have a look at the original carpets, the striker place in along the floors. Just amazing. And to the authenticity of the mileage, if you have a look at the pedals and the lack of wear on the brake pedal and accelerator, tells you that it is just genuine. Look at that crash pad on that dashboard. It's just in incredible original condition. The other telltale sign with these sort of things that we find over the years is the chrome detail around the gauges. If you have a look at the dashboard itself, have a look at those. Have a look at that chrome. It was essentially paint, if you like, or stick-on item. For the most part, it's just in incredible condition. Again, hasn't been restored, non-reproduction. This is all original gear. That steering wheel's to die for. That's the original, genuine steering wheel on the car. Just all there. magnificent. Check the seats out, they're great. Love it. What about the seat belts? Don't forget the seat belts. These are the original Holden fitted seat belts, just in, again, pristine condition all around that. And of course, you would expect a car of this sort of calibre to have all its bits and pieces, and that it does have. So I've got the original boot key here, mate, and I'm going to use it to open the boot and show you what's in there. So we'll do that. I'll get that open. Have a look at this. Have a look at the condition of that boot mat. I don't know whether you appreciate the fact that these were just made out of very cheap vinyl. To be maintained in that condition, and you know, it sports a very, very slight tear here. That's about it. The rest of it is just pristine. The car is bone dry in and around. The original tyre, spare tyre, and on its original rim, as per factory, sits here, pride of place. Original jack on the inside. You can have a look at that. But when you look at this in here, it just tells you again of the quality of the maintenance of this vehicle. Have a look at the original warning sticker, the caution sticker that sits up on top of this beautiful condition boot lid that talks to the fact that it's got a limited slip differential, so you want to be careful when you're out there doing howlies, right? Not that the owners of this car ever did by the looks of it, it's just that clean. Now, the other thing I like, of course, when you open, one of the telltale signs of use and abuse, if you like, or corrosion, is in and around these original factory seams. When you have a look at this car, it is just bone dry, just such a nice car in and around. And you track it all the way through. You look at the factory blackouts and the way they sat all the way to the other side. Not a scare, it's just such a beautiful, dry, gorgeous car. Original spot welds all along there, nothing's ever been interrupted, nothing's ever been upset or interfered with. Original strikers, original chrome on the bumper bar, as you said. Aftermarket tow bar has been fitted to the car, just lovely. And the other thing, of course, with these sort of things, the telltale sign that it's the real thing and does what it's supposed to do as per factory is when you close it, it just closes. There's no banging and carrying on and, you know, new rubbers, we've got to smash this thing into you know, compliance. It just does what it needs to do. Just lovely to see them like that. So let me show you the original engine of this car. Undisturbed, all original, has had some very basic modification, but I'll point out some bits and pieces that are very, very special for this car. It's the original matching number engine. I don't know whether you can get in here, in and around this side, but if you can go in behind the alternator, you'll see the original stamping, the 350A stamping. I don't know if you can get into there. So yeah, that's a good shot. So the 350A designates it's an automatic, as per factory, 350 cubic inch, of course. Has the original, you know, air cleaner, the original alternator, has the shrouds, everything intact. You have a look at the solvent bottles. I like this sort of stuff. People do away with this sort of gear here, but when you look at these original fittings and all the original wiring, and that's special stuff. In on the wiper, the original wiper motors and stuff like that. When you see all these original plastic fittings remain in place, it's just lovely. And as we've seen, you know, the owner of this car was a very fastidious, overcautious fellow. You've got an extra filtration system that was fitted to the car aftermarket. It's been left on the car, and I think whoever enjoys this car going forward, you'd leave it on there just for the sake of, you know, it's just a period thing, and it just tells the story of the vehicle. The original alloy rocker covers as per the Yankee 350s. The car's had aftermarket, as we've mentioned, the aftermarket extractors fitted to it, but the original headers come with the car, so they're in the boot of the car. If anybody ever wanted to put those back, they sit with the vehicle. Have a look at this original alternator, just something I want to point out. In the aftermarket world, whether it's eBay or wherever you want to go, or to the specialists, see this little plastic cover? People are paying thousands of dollars for this sort of thing. You just cannot for the life of you find these. So when you do, this is undisturbed, original, on the car as per. Original regulators over there. I mean, where do you find those? Have a look at that. People paying a lot of money for this stuff. I just want to show you the paperwork that comes with this car that goes to its provenance. It's a rare find indeed. I mean, some of this paperwork is unheard of with cars of this age. Generally, they went amiss, you know. If you have a look at this, this is the original purchase receipt for the vehicle from McGrath's in Liverpool, the Holden dealer. 27th of May 1970 is when the car was sold. It talks about the deletion of the rally stripe, which was the option that the owner went for at the time. In other words, they didn't want the bonnet stripe. Has the stripes along the side of the car, of course. Talks to what the car is. and then more interestingly what the trade was. So if you look down here, there was a trade of a 66 HR Holden, 1850 for that, against a price of 42.81 all told for the beautiful Monaro, and off they went, and that was about it. So the changeover figure is placed here, and this of course talks to the description of the Monaro, the VIN number, the engine number, which is still true to this day. Same engine, of course, never been out of the car. As we've talked about, 58,000 odd original miles since the car was first sold. It has travelled. Yeah, and there it is. And then on top of that, of course, and we talked to the original logbooks, and this is the compendium that the original logbooks came with. Still in very good condition, as you can see. The original owner's manual, which talks to how to put it into gear and all that sort of stuff, in really good condition. Now, over the years, people have reproduced these things, of course, but this is the real McCoy. You talk to someone there of interest, the old phone numbers in there, maybe somebody that had an interest in the car or did some work on the car or whatever the case may be. But more importantly, the service book, what they called back in the day the owner protection plan. So it's been serviced right up to its 50,000 mile service. The receipt hasn't been torn away from it, but you go right back to the original service at McGrath's back in September of 1970, and there's your dealer stamp, and that follows through right through the ages, 75, and you've got this one here in 74, and so it went. So really amazing history. To find something in this condition and with this sort of history goes without saying that it's quite a special thing.